Okay, class, we're about to start section 4.6, Order of Operations on Fractions. Now, the order of operations remains the same. We really don't need to go back over that. You can go back to chapter 2 where it's discussed, but it's listed here, parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division, and addition or subtraction, whichever one comes first from left to right. So we just apply these rules to these fractions. So now we look here. First thing we have to do is what's in parentheses. I would suggest let's go off to the side here. We have 1/2 minus 1/6. Now we need to find a common denominator. The common denominator of 2 and 6 we know is 6. So we'll multiply this 1/2 by 3 over 3 because 2 times 3 becomes 6. So we have to multiply the numerator and denominator by 3. And since this already has 6, we would just leave that the same. So this will give us 3 over 6 minus 1 over 6. Now 3/6 minus 1/6 is 2/6. And we can simplify this by dividing the numerator and denominator by 2. And this would be 1/3. So now we will have 3/4 divided by 1/3. Now that is what's left out of the parentheses. Now there's nothing more we could do inside this parenthesis. So we'll bring down our 3/4. Division becomes multiplication, and we would take the reciprocal or flip this second fraction. Now we will multiply straight across. 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 1 is 4. And they have nothing else in common, so that is your final answer for number 1. Now number 2, we have division and multiplication. We know when we divide and multiply, we go from left to right. So we will have 2/3. Division will become multiplication, and we'll take the reciprocal of the second fraction. And we can bring down this other fraction that we're multiplying. Now, since we have all multiplication, we could just multiply straight across. 2 times 5 is 10, times 3 is 30. 3 times 4 is 12, times 5 is 60. Now 30 and 60, the greatest common factor that they have is 30. So we'll divide the numerator and denominator by 30. And that would give us 1/2. Now, we go here to our next set of examples. Examples 3 and 4. Now we have 1/2 minus 1/3 in parentheses. We would do that first. So I want to go over here to the side. We have 1/2 minus 1/3. The common denominator of 2 and 3 is 6. So we'll multiply this numerator and denominator by 3, and this numerator and denominator by 2. 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. So we have 3/6 minus 2/6, which is 1/6. So we have 36 times, we have 1/6 in parentheses squared. Now, what we want to do first before we take this 36 times this value here, we have to do the order of operations. So we have to take this 1/6 in parentheses squared, which I will show down here. 1/6 times 1/6 will give us 1 over 36. So we have 36 times 1 over 36. So we can make this 36 over 1 times 1 over 36. 36 times 1 is 36, and 1 times 36 is 36. And we know 36 divided by 36 is just 1, which is our final answer. Now we go over here to number 4. Now I'm going to draw a slight little line here to separate this. So you'll know that all of this went with problem number 3. Now with number 4, we have in parentheses 3/4. We cannot simplify that. And we have that to the second power minus 5 to the second power over 6. So we'll take this parenthesis 3/4 to the second power. Now what I would do is this here, just for space, I'll write this up here. We have 3/4 times 3/4, which will give us 9/16. So this becomes 9/16 We'll leave it in parentheses. Minus. Now, this 5 is the only thing that's taken to the second power. So 5 squared is 25 all over 6. So we had 9/16 minus 25 over 6. Now we need to find a common denominator of 16 and 6. Okay, the common denominator of 16 and 6 is 48. So we had 9 over 16. We have to multiply this numerator and denominator by 3 minus 25 over 6. And we'll multiply this numerator and denominator by 8. Now, we do 9 times 3, which is 27. 16 times 3, which is 48. Minus 25 times 8 is 200. All over 6 times 8 is 48. 27 minus 200 will give us a negative 173 all over 48. Now, negative 173 and 48 has nothing in common. So this here is your final answer. Now we come down here to section B. We have evaluating expressions. Now, we have here section B, evaluating expressions. When working with fractions, it is a good idea to use parentheses around the fractions when you substitute it into the expression. Remember that this was true for negative numbers also. Evaluate x squared minus y. So we're going to substitute in 2/3 for x, and that's squared, minus y. Y is a negative 1/4. Now, we cannot do anything inside those parentheses, so we look on the outside of them. This parenthesis is squared, so we know this is the same as saying 2/3 times 2/3. 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 3 is 9. So 2/3 parentheses squared is the same as 4/9. Now we have minus a negative 1/4. We know the opposite of a negative 1/4 is a positive 1/4. Now, we have here denominators 9 and 4. The common denominator of 9 and 4 is 36. So we'll take 4/9, and we have to multiply that by 4 over 4, plus 1/4 times 9 over 9. 4 times 4 is 16. 9 times 4 is 36. Plus 1 times 9 is 9. And 4 times 9 is 36. 16 plus 9 is 25 over 36. And this is the final answer for number 1. Now we come to number 2. We have y plus 2x. We'll substitute in 5/9 for y. Plus 2 times, and we'll substitute in 7/12 for x. Now inside the parentheses, we can't do anything. But here we have multiplication and addition. We know we will multiply first. So this 5/9 will come out the parentheses. Plus we'll make this 2 a 2 over 1 times 7 over 12. So we have 5/9 plus 2 times 7 is 14 all over 12. Now, what I would suggest is that we simplify this. You never know, it might actually help. So we could divide 14 and 12 divided by 2. We have 5/9 plus, now 14 divided by 2 is 7, 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now we have to find a common denominator of 9 and 6. Now we know the common denominator of 9 and 6 is 18. So we have 5/9 times 2 over 2 plus 7/6 times 3 over 3. Now I'm going to start up here. 5 times 2 is 10. And 9 times 2 is 18. Plus 7 times 3 is 21. All over 6 times 3 is 18. Now we have 10 plus 21, which is 31, all over 18. And that is the final answer.